Today's story is about two such prisoners who not only pulled off brilliant jailbreaks, but after escaping from prison, carried out such bank robberies that left the police and the FBI sweating to solve them. These bank robberies were executed so cleverly that within just 10 minutes, these prisoners would rob the bank without harming anyone and escape from the scene, all right in front of the bank manager and staff, who couldn't do anything. It was such a cunning method that American law enforcement had neither heard of nor seen anything like it before. But because of this very method, they started getting the clues that led to shocking twists in the story. The FBI listed both of these prisoners among the top 10 wanted criminals, because not only had they escaped from prison, but using fake IDs, they were robbing banks one after the other in different cities across America, which made it extremely urgent to catch them. So, who were these prisoners? What was the method they used to rob these banks? And did they ever get caught by the police? You'll be shocked to find out. The story begins on December 28, 1982, when the vice president of Oklahoma City Bank, Steve Thompson, and his wife Ellen were entering their garage in their car late at night. As soon as they stepped out of their car, another vehicle approached them from behind and cornered them. Seeing this, they both got very scared because they weren't expecting anyone that night. Before they could understand anything, two men got out of the car and, pretending to be police officers, stopped Steve and Ellen right there. As soon as Steve asked to see their ID cards, one of the men pulled out a gun and ordered Steve and his wife to quietly go inside the house. Within a few minutes, Steve Thompson realized that he had been taken hostage in his own home. The two men posing as police officers kept the couple tied up all night. But Steve had no idea that this was only part of a bigger plan, and after tonight, their lives were about to change forever. Because Steve was the vice president of Citibank, the two men started asking him questions about the bank's security system. Things like security layers, how many employees were there, and where each security guard usually stood. Terrified, Steve gave them inside information about the bank, but he didn't reveal the real names of the bank employees to ensure their safety. These two men were constantly talking to someone outside via walkie-talkie and were passing on every piece of information that Steve was giving them. By now, Steve Thompson had realized that these were not ordinary thieves. They didn't come to rob him. They wanted to rob the Oklahoma City Bank. The entire night passed this way. On the morning of December 29th, the two robbers took Steve and his wife with them and headed toward the bank. Meanwhile, another person had already reached near the bank and was in constant contact with the two robbers, updating them about who was entering or leaving the bank. Soon, the two robbers entered the bank with Steve and his wife and, at gunpoint, told everyone to stay quietly at their places. They also demanded the bank manager to come forward. As soon as the bank manager came, they asked him who had access to the safe deposit box combinations and keys. The bank manager replied that only he and one other employee knew about it. Hearing this, the two robbers separated the bank manager and that employee, then locked all the remaining employees inside the restroom from the outside. After that, the two robbers went inside the vault with the bank manager and the other employee, and in just 15 minutes, they escaped with hundreds of thousands of dollars. As soon as the robbers fled, the bank manager unlocked the restroom where the other employees, along with Steve and his wife, were locked. Steve immediately informed the police. As soon as the police received the report, they contacted the FBI and, following standard procedures, passed on the details. The case was assigned to FBI Special Agent Mike Cycle, who quickly reached the Citibank with his team and the police. Upon arrival, the police team quietly entered the bank first to confirm that no robbers or bombs were inside. Then FBI agents started interrogating the bank staff one by one, and many shocking revelations started coming to light. According to a law passed by U.S. lawmakers in 1946, if a robbery happens in any federal institution bank across America, it comes directly under the FBI's jurisdiction, which meant that these robbers wouldn't just be hunted in Oklahoma. They would be chased across every city in the United States. FBI agents continued their investigation and questioned Steve Thompson and his wife, who told them everything that had happened the previous night. After that, the police began a thorough search of the chief's house and every corner of the Citibank. From the initial investigation, It was clear that the robbery had been executed with extreme planning and precision. The robbers hadn't left any clues behind. It also became evident that this was not the first time these robbers had done this. They must have used the same method in earlier robberies too. But as the investigation progressed, the FBI couldn't find any record that linked these robbers to previous similar heists. FBI agent Mike Seikel then ordered his team to dig through the FBI's past records and look for robberies that matched the method used in this case. The FBI team spent several days going through old data and finally got their first breakthrough. They found that similar robberies had indeed occurred in different cities across America. Now, FBI agent Mike Seikel started contacting the officers who had investigated those earlier cases. After speaking to several officers, they finally found the one who was going to lead them straight to the bottom of this case. And that's when Agent Mike Seikel spoke to Special Agent Steve the lead came from Novich, who was posted at the FBI's Phoenix office. As soon as Agent Mike Seikel told him about the appearance and body language of the bank robbers, it didn't take long for Agent Chenoweth to realize who was behind the robbery. Agent Chenoweth informed FBI Agent Mike Seikel that the robbers they were looking for were named Terry Connor and Joseph Daughtry, and that the method used in this robbery was exactly the same as what they had used before. Once Officer Navid's identification and the robbery method were known, the robbers were no longer a mystery. The description Steve Thompson had given the FBI also matched these robbers quite well. Since Chenoweth had investigated a similar robbery in the past, he was put in charge of the case. He then began working with the police to find the thieves. The two robbers who carried out this heist, Terry and Joseph, had first met in federal prison. By that time, Terry had already committed 3 bank robberies in Arizona. In those robberies, a bank employee had been held hostage overnight, and then insider information was used to loot the bank. The other thief, Joseph, was a petty criminal from Philadelphia who robbed people by assaulting them. On the other hand, Terry was very cunning and carefully selected his targets before robbing them. Terry was from the West Coast, which falls in California. That's why Agent Novich decided to begin the investigation in California. Agent Chenoweth contacted the FBI agency in California, where he got in touch with Special Agent Harlan Freimeyer and told him everything about this robbery and about Terry Connor. During this time, the FBI began to suspect that Terry had a girlfriend who lived in Pacific Grove, California. Following this lead, the California FBI agency began watching his girlfriend around the clock so they could catch Terry if he tried to contact her. After a few days of surveillance, the FBI noticed a car that was frequently parked outside Terry's girlfriend's house. What caught their attention was that the car had an Oklahoma license plate. Seeing this, Agent Freimeyer grew suspicious and called the Oklahoma RTO office to check the license plate number. But the RTO office had no record of that plate. This made their suspicion stronger, and they began to believe that Terry had used a fake ID to buy the car. One day, when Terry's girlfriend was not home, 2 FBI officers questioned the gardener who took care of the car at the house. They told him about the investigation and asked whether he had seen any man coming in or out of the house. The gardener said he hadn't seen anyone entering or exiting the house, but he had often heard Terry's girlfriend talking to someone on the phone. He also mentioned that she was going to meet someone the following week. Upon hearing this, Agent Freimeyer felt certain that Terry's girlfriend was going to meet him soon, and they were now very close to catching Terry. The FBI then had officers follow Terry's girlfriend day and night and kept a close watch on her. During this time, they noticed one key thing. She used a different car every time she went out. One day, Terry's girlfriend left her house early in the morning and drove off, unaware that she was being followed. After driving for a while, she parked the car at a certain spot and got into another car and drove away. The FBI officers, who were following her, witnessed the entire thing. After about half an hour of driving, Terry's girlfriend parked the second car outside a restaurant and then vanished from the FBI's view. Seeing this, the FBI officers panicked. They feared that Terry and his girlfriend might escape again, so they punctured the tire of the car she had left behind. Now the waiting became longer, as there was no sign of Terry or his girlfriend. Then suddenly, a car appeared in the parking lot with Terry and his girlfriend inside. Since the FBI knew Terry might be armed, they approached the parking lot cautiously and silently. Then, all at once, they surrounded Terry and arrested both him and his girlfriend. The FBI first began questioning Terry's girlfriend. She told them that she didn't know anything about the Oklahoma City bank robbery and that she wasn't involved in any kind of theft. She also stated that on the day of the robbery, she had gone to her sister's house. During Terry's arrest, police found another piece of evidence. The car whose tire had been punctured belonged to Terry's girlfriend. When Terry opened the trunk to get a jack to fix the tire, the FBI spotted a briefcase inside. Seeing this briefcase brought a sparkle to the FBI agent's eyes. As soon as they opened it, they found $40,000 in cash. What shocked the FBI agents the most was that when they matched the serial numbers of the bills to those stolen from the Citibank, they were an exact match. This was now the biggest piece of evidence proving Terry's involvement in the robbery. The FBI then charged Terry with the Oklahoma bank robbery and began interrogating him aggressively. Meanwhile, the police started searching his house. In the search, the police found a receipt from a car dealership. The name on the receipt was Russell Anderson. Seeing this, the FBI quickly realized that this was also a fake identity that Terry had used to buy the car. The address listed on the receipt was Santa Maria, California. Upon seeing this, Agent Freimeyer began to suspect that the address Joseph was Terry's partner, and he immediately ordered the Southern California police to check out this address. However, when the police reached this address in Santa Maria and entered the house, they found nothing there. They began to suspect that whoever was in this house had already been warned by Terry when he was calling his lawyer. Meanwhile, when Agent Chenoweth got the news of Terry's arrest, he started to believe that Joseph, Terry's partner, would surely rob another bank using the same method. But at the same time, he also knew that Joseph was not as clever as Terry and would definitely make a mistake during the robbery that would lead them to him. Now the FBI started waiting for another bank robbery to happen using the same technique. But in the next 8 months, neither did any such robbery happen, nor was there any trace of Joseph. It had been more than 8 months since Terry's arrest. Then, on a Friday night in 1983, the vice president of a major bank in Fuchs returned home with his family after Thanksgiving dinner. As soon as he opened the door, he saw that everything in the house was scattered around. Before he could understand anything, 2 men came out of a room with guns in their hands and held the entire family at gunpoint. Here too, these 2 thieves kept the whole family hostage the entire night, using exactly the same method that Terry used in his robberies. And this time, the robbery was carried out by none other than Joseph, along with a new partner. The next morning, Joseph and his partner put the vice president and his whole family in a car and headed toward the bank. This time, it took them about an hour to reach the bank. These 2 robbers used the same old method, locking everyone in the restroom. And with the help of the manager, they fled from the bank in just a few minutes with $70,000 in cash. The city where this robbery took place was the hometown of Agent Chenoweth, who was already in charge of this case. As soon as Chenoweth heard about this robbery, it didn't take him long to realize who was behind it. Agent Nowich first started questioning the bank employees and the vice president to find out about the robbers' appearances. The description they gave during the interrogation clearly confirmed that Joseph was involved in this robbery. During this investigation, another new problem arose for the FBI, and that was Joseph's new partner. The person Joseph had included in the robbery was completely unknown to the FBI. But during the investigation, one fact came to light. Joseph's new partner was far more dangerous than both Terry and Joseph. 6 more months passed, yet neither Joseph nor his partner was caught by the FBI. Then, one day, the phone rang at the FBI office. It was a call from a local police in Nevada. They informed the FBI about another bank robbery and also revealed that, just like before, a bank employee's entire family had been held hostage overnight and all the information had been extracted from them to rob the bank. However, this time the robbery was much more violent and dangerous than the previous ones. Not only was the bank looted, but the robbers also strapped a bomb to the bank manager's chest and threatened him to do whatever they instructed. The police arrived at the bank with the bomb squad team. The team began the task of defusing the bomb, but everyone was shocked when they found out that the bomb was fake. Now the FBI agents continued their investigation and showed a photo of Joseph to the bank employees. Upon seeing the photo, they immediately recognized him and confirmed that one of the two robbers was Joseph. The FBI also questioned people standing outside the bank. Many of them said that after the robbery, they saw a white car speeding away from the bank with a Washington license plate. The FBI agents began searching for this car, eventually found it parked in a deserted area about 200 meters from the bank. When the RTO office checked the number plate, the FBI found out that the car was registered to a man living in Spokane, Washington. When FBI agents questioned this man about the car, he told them that he had sold the car a few days ago to a man. When shown a photo of Joseph, the man immediately recognized him and confirmed it was the same person. He also informed the FBI that Joseph had paid him for the car, but never came back to transfer it to his own name. Now, to track the car, the FBI enlisted the help of the U.S. Marshals, as they are specially trained to trace cars and people across different states and are very skilled in this task. The responsibility of tracking the car was given to U.S. Marshal Danny Barron. He believed that the only way to reach Joseph was to track the cars he had used during his robberies. Danny Barron began searching for every car and every fake identity Joseph had used. Their first breakthrough came when they discovered a car that matched both the address and Joseph's fake ID. This address was in the city of Nampa in the state of Idaho. When U.S. Marshal Danny Barron reached the address, the house was completely deserted. He then started asking neighbors about Joseph and showed them his photo. One woman immediately recognized him. She told Danny Barron that she knew him as James. James, i.e., Joseph, had recently left the house with his girlfriend and newborn baby. Now Marshal Danny Barron started forming a theory. If they had moved out of the house, they would have needed a small truck to shift their belongings. And surely, this truck would have been rented by either Joseph or his girlfriend under their name. Barron began going through the records of truck rental companies in that area. His first success came when he found out that Joseph had rented a truck under his own name, and that truck had taken them to Colorado. He took the full address from the truck rental company and gave all the information to the FBI. After that, the FBI began surveillance on the house. During the surveillance, FBI agents saw a couple coming out of the house. But they were stunned to find out that the man with the woman was not Joseph. It was someone else. The FBI car began following the couple, which led them to a store. As the couple entered the store, FBI agents began checking the car from the outside. But on the back seat, they don't see any baby there, which makes them think that maybe the baby is at home and Joseph is taking care of it. And just as the couple comes out, FBI agents arrest them and start questioning them right there. The woman in the couple was none other than Joseph's girlfriend. Seeing the pressure from the FBI, she breaks down and tells them that Joseph is at home with the baby and also reveals that Joseph has weapons. Hearing this, two FBI agents immediately reach Joseph's house. And since there was a small baby inside, instead of firing, they ask him to come out. Hearing the voices of the agents, Joseph fires one shot in the air, which scares the FBI agents. They were confused whether they should fire or not, because one wrong move could harm a child. Hearing the gunshot, both agents hide behind trees and keep asking Joseph to surrender. But a constant fear was haunting them that anything could happen now. Meanwhile, Joseph comes out with a gun in his hand and starts firing toward the trees. And since he was only firing at the FBI agents, he was unaware that just a few steps away, the SWAT team was also ready and waiting for him. No one was firing back at Joseph because everyone knew that there was a small child inside the house. Then the FBI warns him again, saying that he is surrounded from all sides and should surrender. But instead of surrendering, Joseph goes back into the house. This time, the FBI calls him and tells him on the phone that his girlfriend and partner have been arrested and he should quietly come out with his hands up. But Joseph hangs up the phone. Finally, the FBI decides they will now enter the house. Just as the FBI agents and SWAT team move toward the house, they see Joseph coming out of the door. After that, he surrenders to the FBI. The FBI agents immediately arrest him, and the SWAT team enters to check if the child is safe and if anyone else is inside. The SWAT team is shocked when they find 16 guns inside the house, including several assault rifles. It was clear that Joseph was fully prepared to handle any police encounter. Eventually, Joseph's charge sheet is prepared, and he is sent for trial in the Oklahoma court. There, he is kept in the same cell as Terry. And this is where both of them start planning their escape. Anyway, 1 year after Terry and Joseph were caught, their trial begins. They were charged with several crimes and had to face many trials. Their first trial was on June 19, 1985. For this trial, 2 U.S. Marshals were taking them by car to the Oklahoma City court. Everything was going fine until the car entered a deserted area surrounded by forests. Terry and Joseph had already prepared for their escape and were just waiting for the right opportunity. As the car went through the forest, both of them used blades they had stolen from jail. Before the officers could understand anything, Joseph grabbed the gun from one officer's waist and pointed it at their heads, asking them to pull over near the forest. Once the car stopped, Terry and Joseph made the officers walk toward a tree. When they reached the tree, both tied the officers to it and escaped with the police car. They also took the guns and badges of the police officers. Meanwhile, in court, FBI officers were waiting for them to arrive, unaware that the 2 prisoners had escaped. By the time the 2 marshals managed to untie themselves and get free, half an hour had already passed, meaning the fugitives were already 30 minutes ahead. The marshals immediately informed the local police. And when the news of Terry and Joseph's escape reached the Oklahoma City court, everyone was shocked. Officer Steve Zinovich, who was in charge of this case, was present in court and felt like the ground slipped from under his feet. He felt all his hard work had gone to waste. On the other hand, just a few months after escaping, Terry and Joseph resumed their criminal activities. Police realized this when they received news of 2 more bank robberies. The style of robbery matched exactly what Terry and Joseph used to do. This time, they had stolen about $4,000 in cash from both banks, clearly indicating that they were back and ready for bigger crimes. 2 months after these robberies, the phone rang at a police station in West Dallas, Texas. They were informed of another bank robbery, this time involving the theft of nearly $1 million in cash. This was Texas's biggest bank robbery ever. The responsibility to solve it was given to Special Agent Dan Kraft. Dan Kraft began his investigation by questioning bank employees, and some shocking revelations came forward. According to the employees, the robbers were extremely dangerous and fearless, as they didn't even cover their faces. One of them even said that when the FBI hears about this robbery, they will immediately know who did it. And the robbers were none other than Terry and Joseph. By now, they had made it to the FBI's top 10 most wanted list. A few weeks later, the FBI caught a man who was searching for Terry and Joseph. The FBI arrested him and began interrogating him. After 5 days of questioning, the man finally admitted that he knew Terry and Joseph and revealed several shocking details that left the FBI stunned. He started sharing every detail about them: how they selected bank targets, how they carried out robberies, how they changed identities and moved from place to place, and how they communicated. With his help, the FBI arrested another man named John Harris. He had previously helped Terry and Joseph in their bank robberies. John told the FBI that Terry and Joseph were currently in Chicago and planning another bank robbery. But by the time the FBI reached their hotel, Joseph had already checked out. However, Terry was still in his hotel room. The FBI silently kept an eye on the hotel entrance, and as soon as Terry stepped out, they arrested him. Just a few hours after Terry's arrest, Joseph was also caught because Terry had told the FBI where he was going. And in this way, after many years, the FBI finally managed to catch 2 of the top 10 most wanted criminals. It felt like a huge weight had been lifted off their shoulders. They immediately demanded the court to start their trial, which was approved. The judge charged both of them with robbery, murder, and escaping police custody. He sentenced them to 139 years in prison, without the possibility of parole. This was the verdict everyone had been waiting for. The judge praised the FBI, saying that it was a joint operation in which everyone played their part. And thanks to the FBI's intelligence and wisdom, these 2 criminals were finally caught by the law. How did you like this story? Let us know in the comment section. Like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.